Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about the Geoff Johns debacle thing because, of course, Geoff Johns done came out and apologized about. I'm not saying that Superman's grandfather can't be black at the time. It's just like, for God's sakes, you guys, I'm getting real sick of this whole let's push this whole narrative about racism. And then another thing is, why is the only races these folks think about is taking a white character and making them black? That ain't something. You do realize there's more racists out there besides black, right? Because this is getting really aggravating. And another thing, it shows how creatively bankrupt these creatives is. You guys, I am so tired of, heaven forbid, that when you're casting characters that has 80 years of history, you have pictures, you have images of these characters, you know what they look like, especially when you're basing them off of the source material. Heaven forbid you cast correctly. You cast the correct race. Oh, the character's white, so I'm gonna cast him white. Oh, why you can't cast him black? We live in today's society where things are diverse and stuff like that, and it is possible for a white person ancestor to be black. Ain't nobody saying that it's not. But damn, there is books that shows Kal-El's grandparents. They are white, like it or not. Matter of fact, you can go on a Wikipedia pages that tell you this. What they label them as: white. They don't label them as what species: Kryptonian. What race? White. Like it or not, I'm getting real annoyed that we keep having to fall into this whole thing about, oh well, technically, or well, in today's society. We're not talking about today's society. These characters have been around for 80 years. That's their family tree. You just can't go into somebody's family tree and change it and retcon it just because you want diversity. And with the Krypton show, you guys made the Zod family black, which I guess you were hinting Val Zod, but real talk. I've read the Earth 2 New 52 run, and they never said what part of Zod's family is Val Zod part of. Yes, he is part of the House of Zod, but we don't know if that was Zod's brother. We don't know if it was his auntie, his great niece or nephew, because they never described it. They just put that name on there because it's a well-known Kryptonian name that's not L. So they use Zod to try to give him, like, wait, if he's Val Zod, isn't he connected to General Zod? So doesn't that mean he has the potential of being evil? That is really the reason why they why they created Val Zod and made him part of the House of Zod. Because what else is there really? Because if you look at the House of Zod back in the past, they were all white too. So I'm just kind of confused where we're getting upset that people want to cast characters traditionally how they are. And the hypocrisy of it all is, if Superman's grandparents were originally black and they casted white characters, we'd be up in arms talking about how racist that is. But yet we upset that they chose characters that are traditionally white instead of coming up with other characters or other new characters or whatever and stuff like that and bringing them into the fold. You have to take characters that are traditionally white and make them black or whatever other race to feed your need of diversity. The Kryptonian show could have been the start of creating brand new black Kryptonian characters that wasn't tied to Zod or wasn't tied to the Elves. That could have worked. And then who knows, if it did well, they could have secretly added that character into the DC comic book landscape. At least if you would have brought in a black character, at least it's because you built the character up in Krypton, and you developed the character past surface levels of being black or diverse. He'll never be Superman, for God's sakes, but at least you will have a black Kryptonian that you can use. Because Val Zod, the reason why Val Zod doesn't work is because he came from a world that from a comic book series that's actually pretty good. Earth 2 is pretty good. And if the DC universe had just made that book instead of rebooting the entire continuity of the DC universe and did their own thing, that would have been completely fine. If all of the universe revolved around that Earth 2 stuff when they decided they wanted to reboot the characters and make changes or whatever, if they kept all of that in that continuity line or whatever and stuff like that, made it their own ultimate, DC universe, that stuff would have worked. But the reason why I'm saying that is because I know some people want to be like, oh, because you got Val Zod, so they changed the Zod family. Yes, they changed the Zod family completely black. And let's be honest, the Zod family is mostly white, except for Val Zod and his unnamed parents that they never even got into depth with that one. So we don't even know how far the lineage of the Zods is and how expansive it is, since the Zod family mostly come from the military background of Krypton, because of course everybody knows that Krypton has different levels of society and stuff like that. And the Zods came from militant and the Elves came from science. So it's weird that we're trying to come up with stuff or whatever, and then you got Renee Page, John, whatever his darn name is, co-signing, and then of course you have what's that goddamn stupid person, you got another actor like not another actor but another writer from the show co-signing it, and it's just like, why are you guys co-signing this crap? You know what I'm saying? What Cameron Cuff? Yes, Cameron Cuffs, and talking about it. That he supports the race changes, and he urges Hollywood to make changes and stop trying to cast racist or whatever stuff like that. And it's just like, are you guys hearing yourself? You guys are literally taking characters from fiction that have backgrounds, have characters, have story, has families, have fans, have everything, and you're trying to put them into screen for us to watch, and you can't. It's wrong to cast them correctly. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Selena Kyle black. The heifer ain't black, so she shouldn't be black. Period. I don't care about the Adam West show where they made Selena Kyle in the last season black, and guess what? They killed whatever build up they was trying to do for Batman and Catwoman. Because if you guys remember, they were trying to build Catwoman and Batman's relationship just a tad bit upward more. But remember, Eartha Kitt wasn't able to touch the character. They barely had scenes like that because of the fact that people were outraged that she was black. And then everybody wanted to look at, oh, well, you got Halle Berry. Halle Berry was Patient Phillips. At least they created a brand new character. It's the same crap with Ruby Rose. I mean, what's the darn heifer name? What's it? Ryan Wilder. And both flops. Both flop, because you know why? People don't like when you change characters unnecessarily. I'm sorry to tell you this. We don't like it. And you can't get mad and then try to wee and cry and be like, oh, it's because people are being racist. Well, if the character is traditionally white and the fans expect the character to be white, that's what the character is. Don't nobody, if you're gonna take a character that's traditionally black, people expect the character to be traditionally black. A character that's traditionally Chinese, Asian, South Pacific, Hawaiian, German. They expect those characters to be what they are. You can't just keep changing people's skin color and race or gender or sexuality and be like, oh, this is fine. Stop disrespecting us as comic book readers and fans of this franchise, and then try to be like, oh, it's a different universe. It ain't really much of a different universe if your excuse is, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Superman's grandfather was black? No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be cool. It's not funny. It's not cool. Skin color ain't some goddamn paint on that you can just paint on a person and take off at the end of the day. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry to tell you this, but this whole nonsense of, oh, people are upset because we didn't cast black people in roles that are traditionally white, especially when we're taking fictional characters from books and making them live action, and heaven forbid that we wanted to cast the characters correctly. I'm sorry, what's wrong with casting a character correctly? Ain't nothing wrong with that. But this forced diversity crap that you guys are pulling Hollywood is turning people off. People are turned off by it. That's the thing that you're not understanding. This we and ran and crying about nonsense, because that's what it is, nonsense. If the character isn't black, Asian, Latina, any other darn race besides, if the character is not any other diverse, and don't tell me you ain't looked at it, because it's weird when these actors of color be like, oh, I'm cast as this character from a book, right? And then they put the character next to him, and the character's white. Excuse me, something got missed in translation. You're black, this character's white. Or you're Latino, this character is white. Like, at least if you're going to do that, can you at least give somebody that look closely resemble to the character? We got to stop with this we and ran about racism when somebody wants to cast somebody correctly, or because fans want to see characters traditionally how they are depicted in books. It's already bad enough you disrespect us that much, but yet you want to strip mine the ideas from comic books and turn it into franchises and stuff like that. But then you want to disrespect the fans that's been keeping the crap around for 80 years. Make it make sense, people. With this goddamn awful we and ran about racism. Like, get the hell out of here with that crap. I don't want to see characters that are traditionally white as another race. It doesn't uplift me. It feels like a slap in my face, because while you're doing all of that, you never want to actually bring in original diverse characters of diverse backgrounds. Like, damn, we got it on TV, and yet all of those black people that are complaining about oh, we don't have enough diversity or whatever. You got Black Lightning. You had Black Lightning. That's a whole black show with superheroes in it. Where's the support for that? You get what I'm saying? You got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Where is the support for that? You guys always talking about it ain't diverse characters or background or whatever and stuff like that, especially when they're original. And when they are original, you guys tune out. All of those people that always complaining about are the same ones that don't even tune in when they do bring those original characters the background. Kung Fu came out. Where the Asians at? You know what I'm saying? It's mostly the white people that are watching this stuff, because guess what? Majority white people read comic books and support comic books. Like it or not, you can get mad all the hell you want to, but majority of your fan base are white and male and straight. I don't understand how we're forgetting this. Most of the comic books are written by white people because they care about these characters. I don't know. I'm not saying modern, because modern times they don't. But before 2008, I believe, people cared about these characters. They were writing these amazing stories and everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there aren't any people of diverse backgrounds that drew and created the characters or whatever, but they didn't make a big deal about it. But since you guys want to make it a whole race thing or whatever, we're the black people, the same black people that was complaining about, it's racist that that Superman's family members can't be black, are the same ones that won't even buy any black comic books. I'm just being honest. If you're gonna talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. I had this argument on Instagram about that kind of stuff, and I was like, you guys will sit up there and complain about that kind of stuff, but you don't know anything about these characters at all. You never heard of them or anything. The only thing you care about is some race stuff. But if you really care, you will pick up the books when they do bring in those black characters. Don't sit up here and say it's not out there. It's out there. You just got to stop being lazy and find it. Hollywood shouldn't be your one and done to find diversity. It's just like when I get annoyed when I hear these new generation black parents on social media be like, "Oh, thank you, finally my son and my daughter can see themselves on the big screen." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you literally kidding me? How many shows of diverse origins back in the 90s? It was an explosive amount of characters of different backgrounds: black, Asian, Chinese, Latin, German, Japanese. Like, don't sit up here and come with me with that nonsense. Some of the most hit famous shows had black people as the lead. Some of the most famous hit shows had women in the lead. So don't come here with the nonsense of there wasn't no diversity until now. That's that crap that gets on my nerves. And the same ones that are trying to cry and wee about it are the same ones that won't even pick up the books. They won't pick up the books to save their lives. But you think y'all should listen to those folks? No, don't listen to the guy who's just been reading comic books and manga for almost 20 years. Don't listen to the guy that grew up in the 90s where it was so much diversity you couldn't blink without seeing somebody that was non-white. You know what I'm saying? So I'm confused where we're coming from with this nonsense. And no, I don't think Geoff Johns should have to apologize for anything. Stop apologizing to these weirdos. Let them talk at this point. Let them talk. Let them talk, because they're just only doing that because they're mad that they're not their characters weren't popular enough to make it. I'm sorry, you have to put time and effort into these characters. This goes for DC, this goes for Marvel, this goes for anybody. But keep race changing characters, keep gender swapping them, keep sexuality changing them. All it's doing is pushing people further and further away. People are tired. Do you not understand? Every time you guys make an announcement and you're quote unquote for diversity, don't you get way more negative reactions than you do positive. And you're trying to drown out the negative with the positive ones. Be like, yes, Queen Slay, for the people that won't watch the movie or buy the book or buy the merchandise, but they'll retweet. And because they got retweets and stuff like that, and because you want to try to show the toxic man babies up, sure, fine, whatever. But you can't even sell 1 million copies of a book. Interesting how you can't sell 1 million copies of a book. So while you're trying to make these changes for those people, those same people is not buying your book, is not watching your shows, is barely supporting your movies, is barely supporting your merchandise. So you tell me, was that a good idea? Was that a good idea? I can already tell you the answer was no. Stop with the nonsense, people. Let's just cut that out. That's all I've got to say about the subject. But that was it. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.